Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Keiretsu Forum TV. My name is Nathan McDonald, Chairman of the Northwest Region, Rockies Region, and excited to be here today for our CEO interview series on angel-backed companies, and very pleased to have James Wagoner with us with Joule Case. James, welcome. Love for you to do a quick little introduction, and we're going to talk about Joule Case and how you guys have built the company up from bootstrap to angel-backed, and love for you to talk a little bit about how the company was founded and what your inspiration was.
Great. Great to be here, Nathan. Thank you for the introduction. And my name is James Wagoner, CEO and founder of Joule Case. Joule Case was founded by Alex Livingston and myself back in 2015. And this is actually our second battery startup. So we had a previous one from 2007 to 2010 around stackable battery systems for electric vehicles called R2EV. And then in 2015, we started to realize the importance of these same battery systems, not just for transportation, but microgrids, backup power, temporary power, portable power, and envisioning what the future looked like on a decarbonized energy market, and understanding that power and batteries and electricity are going to be important. And unfortunately, Alex and I had some previous background in this, and we built some products. So we started in 2015 and really started diving into the product development and building it. Certainly in 2015, we were early for the market, and understanding that, back then it was a lot of sealed lead acid batteries, no lithium ion, which, the weight and the number of cycles and the durability, reliability of it all. But now, lithium ion batteries are becoming more and more ubiquitous. The price point's right, the durability, everything is now reaching that threshold where you can really have successful use cases in replacing gasoline generators or installing a battery system like a Joule Case, and be price competitive, or be something that is so compelling that customer has to choose a Joule Case.
You guys looked at this for quite a few years then, looked at a lot of different battery technologies. You guys didn't necessarily innovate your own type of, fuel cell or battery technology like a lot of folks have spent a lot of time on. What was kind of the innovation or disruption that you guys have brought to market here?
Yeah, and it's really the journey of that, or the explanation of that, is really what Alex and I have been working on, throughout, since we started R2EV back in 2007. But it's understanding that batteries and portable power are going to be everywhere, and you're going to have that storage system. But that's a vessel, that container of the battery, the anode, the cathode, the electrolyte, all of the electrons. Sure, that's the vessel. But similar to any other energy source, that's got to be accessible and easy and convenient for the consumer. So, and as we really, have been going on our battery journey, it's understanding that there's going to be need for that power, that energy, to actually be convenient or accessible for the consumer. So Joule Case is not about the lithium-ion battery right now, or the sealed lead acid battery that we had before, or maybe it's a supercapacitor. All of that can be packaged in our package, and it's developing the IP and the technology that makes it so that is actually accessible or usable by the consumer, and understanding that now they have this brand. And then, so, the comparison is, you have a PC back in the day, and before Microsoft Windows, sure, you can use that PC, but for someone that's not a computer engineer, that programming language is really, really tough. Conversely, Joule Case, you can use a battery right now if you're an electrical engineer and the inverter and like that, but that's really, really tough. And then, so to have a product and have it so that it's just easy and simple, and develop the technology to make it so that you don't have to be an electrical engineer to understand the wattage or the volts, is really what Joule Case is focused on. So that, it's the vessel is not important. It's that brand or that experience for a customer, and that's what Joule Case is building.
Yeah, when I think about batteries and think about my car and everything else, I mean, it's just not something I generally want to mess with. And so making that consumer package simplified so people can use, just like you plug in a cell phone and, it works and you've got power, very, very helpful. So what when you think about your target customers, what are the top 3 issues or problems that you solve for those target customers as part of your guys' go-to-market strategy? You guys have looked at a lot of different people that could use power, but what are the kind of the top 3 problems and target customers you guys are going after?
Joule Case is a product that, good and bad, we can go into a lot of different verticals. We can, everyone needs power, reliable power, backup power, or, just everything that we do nowadays is connected to the internet. There's devices and lights and TVs and computers and, the internet is there, and that all requires power. So, in going into the space, what we are really solving is when that power is critical to some key fundamental operations of what they're doing. So Joule Case has got a lot of traction, and this is before COVID-19, but a lot of traction in music festivals and events. They need to have temporary power, and that generator experience is something that their customers are demanding that they eliminate. These millennials that go to Coachella, Lollapalooza, whatever that is. Now, in the COVID world, resiliency is key. It's now become more of a buzzword, and it's very important that wherever you are and everyone's at home, you are resilient to what is going on in the world, and that power becomes critical for that application. And so, the 3 problems that Joule Case is really solving is number 1, your power insecurity, and understanding that even a 95% uptime is not going to be acceptable for a lot of these consumers. It's got to be 100%. There's also and the way that Joule Case kind of dovetails into multiple different value propositions is that we also are stackable, swappable, portable. And then so there's a need for a temporary power. So it's not just your emergency backup power for your house, but it's also the need to have that temporary power application for a camping trip or the tailgate. It's understanding that, how a campground looks now in 2020 compared to 1990. And every campsite's got a generator now. And that's not a good experience. And so now we can solve that with the Joule Case. And then it's also understanding that there's going to be a transition to more of this, as we talk about the resiliency or the backup power, like I just described, and then the portable power, there's going to be the need to generate your own power. And the solar that's localized at your house, the solar that doesn't require all the transmissions lines, now will also need that battery storage. And that battery storage can come in many different ways. But with the Joule Case and having that value proposition of backup power, portable, and then being able to size for your power application and be modular and flexible to each one of those customers makes it a very compelling use case where, you have multiple value propositions when you buy a Joule Case instead of, one product bolt to your wall or one gasoline generator.
That's great. It's definitely an idea whose time has come, and being able to eliminate all the gas generators and create another option, just like, it's amazing how long electric cars and just kind of the adoption curve on these things. And it feels like we have kind of crossed over a threshold there where, people need so much portable power in so many different places, but, no one wants to be the person who's firing up the gas generator and producing a bunch of exhaust and a bunch of noise pollution. I mean, that's not helping when we're trying to relax, or we're trying to enjoy music or, whatever it may be. So that's very exciting innovation. I can see why customers, and you guys spent a lot of time, organizing, designing the solution, looking for that product market fit, waiting for the market to probably catch up with some of the ideas that you guys had and really see the market begin to demand this product. So as you guys started to see that, the opportunity was coming, you guys obviously did decide to raise capital. You guys were bootstrapped for a very long time. Maybe talk a little bit about kind of the bootstrap phase, and then talk a little bit about why you guys decided to raise funding and what it'll be used for.
Yeah. Thank you, Nathan. And so like I said, we founded Joule Case in 2015. At the time, Alex Livingston and myself, we were living in Portland, and we're still good friends from the previous startup and, going back from our college days. And we were able to find a customer fit that kept Joule Case going, which was in this event and trade show space. And And it's certainly not a massive or a compelling market, but there's some key customers that we were able to build out some product and get that feedback and incorporate that back into our product and a evolution as we went along to weigh the price point. If we're going to invest in tooling as a product company, what kind of, inverter and the charger, and there's a lot that went into that. And then so, like you kind of alluded to, in 2015, 2016, 2017, there's there's several factors that really weighed against Joule Case. And so while Alex and I were very excited about the vision and knowing that this is where it's all going to go, the market wasn't ready for it. And it's, the consumer's lack of trust in batteries, especially in 2015, let's say, and just understanding what that looks like. Also, the price point of these batteries. And so silicic acid, sure, not that expensive, but lithium ion in 2015 or 2010 when we were in R2 EV, it's the 10th of the price now. And then it's also the evolution of all of these portable power devices, and needing, suddenly that realization that you need to have that internet and the lights or the power now, that in 2015, there was just a little bit less of that need. And then also, finally, the efficiency of all of our power products. And LED lights now compared to incandescents, and none of this is new, but that adoption of that technology. And so it was understanding that we had some product work to do on our end, and then understanding where that marketplace was, and then about late 2018, realizing, okay, we feel really good about our product now. We are willing, we've been in this now for about 3 years, and we think that now would be the time that you can really start to make a full attempt at a mass market product. And then we started to have some conversations and learn more about how to raise additional capital, because before that it was a very hand to mouth. If Alex and I were building batteries, then we're not selling them, and then we're selling the batteries, now we're not building them, right? And so there was an evolution of that, but understanding that, all right, we have these customers and we can hit go now, and we need the ability to hire someone to then build some batteries for us, to have a little bit of inventory so that there isn't a 3-month turnaround time or anything like that as well. And then so we, through our advisor network, had heard of a lot of success stories with Keiretsu, and then so there's PackSense. And then and I think there's a couple other ones as well, but Tom Jensen with PackSense was one of our early advisors, and we started that conversation with you, Nathan, and Brianna, and then there was a journey there in terms of having, being able to tell our story and understanding how to really tell that in the most compelling way. Also, to, as you tell that story and get the feedback, understanding there's a lot of learning that can happen as an entrepreneur, because these angel investors, see so many companies. I mean, my visibility as the CEO of Joule Case is Joule Case. The visibility of you or these angel investors, there's 10, 15 screening companies every month, and then 5, 6 companies go through the roadshow every month, and then so that visibility of not, sure, they're not all Joule Case, they're not battery products, but it's a startup, and you can learn some things from there, and that feedback from the angel investors have made Joule Case a much better company.
And so what have been really the challenges through that due diligence process? What risk factors did they look at? And, ultimately, what was the kind of exciting areas and vision, that really engaged the investors? And for all the ones that had interest in versus the ones that ended up investing, what was kind of the key item there that you felt really kind of got the majority of them behind Joule Case and wanting to back Joule Case and see it achieve its success?
If I were to summarize my thought around that or crystallize it, I think it was how Joule Case transitioned from this bootstrapped company to something that is a little bit further down the journey. And now, Joule Case has got 7 employees and this inventory and the sales that we didn't have before. So a lot of transition there and a lot of big changes. But if you look at the Keiretsu due diligence report, the Keiretsu members that visited our quote unquote site, they go to a garage in Meridian, Idaho, and we're showing them how we build them out of our garage. And then it was them having, the vision of saying, well, okay, this is how it actually translates out of a garage and into the warehouse that we have now. And this is how it translates, in terms of what's our gross margin, what's our marketing, and all of that as well. And then so the ability to listen to them, and not that that these angel investors know everything about how exactly to run Joule Case, but there's a lot of perspectives there that come from a background of seeing dozens and dozens of companies, and to take their advice and feedback, be very open and receptive to it, and then kind of filter that to what is going to be most helpful for Joule Case. And that's been, there's a little bit of that ebb and flow, but being open to that and being very receptive, understanding that that I don't have all the answers. I'm really looking to find the right team members that can, the expert in marketing, an expert in a sales channel, an expert in the IP, whatever that is, the expert, and taking that and putting that into Joule Case to make Joule Case the best company it can be.
And so you guys are ramping now. You guys have inventory. You guys are actively selling. What is the outlook here for the rest of 2020, and where do you guys hope to be in terms of a couple years down the road? Any projection on what you think this can turn into?
Yeah. So we were focused at the very beginning of 2020 around music festivals for Joule Case, and it's a really, there's a couple reasons why we were really excited about that space, but we really had the backing of the large music festivals. So it's Live Nation, AEG, iHeartRadio, Insomniac, that are very well financed, and they're all very excited about what Joule Case is demonstrating to them successfully. And then with that real accelerator button of them putting Joule Case in all of their festivals, you can now have that instant trust and credibility to that end consumer. They see a product at their music festival that they know and love, and if it can power the performance by Drake, then they can certainly power and trust it with their house. With COVID, we've now gone directly to the consumer as the emergency backup power, and there is an increased awareness, visibility around the importance of having that resiliency. It's having the toilet paper, like we all know, that all sold out, right? And so the next step, what about the power? And the good news is that we had previously had a lot of these conversations with these retailers, distributors, and we were able to restart those conversations and immediately start selling in them. So we've set up our website now to sell directly to our customers. We also now have partnerships where we're selling through electrical distributors, online retailers, bricks and mortar of Northern Tool and Camping World. And in 2020, we are in this pivot where our revised projections about $500,000, and I say that with something that we really want to overachieve on. And then then that come 2021, there are music festivals that would come back whenever that is, but then that would also leverage out this existing market. And what we see is that every household is going to have a battery system in it in 10 years. That is a massive market. And what Joule Case has is the product and the technology and the IP around being something that is compelling, that can power a small little apartment to something as big as your big mansion ranch over in Wyoming, and everything in between, and be portable. And so while there are other battery products out there, there's not a product that has the technology that's in the market, that also has the IP that Joule Case has. And we're very excited about being, the standard oil of the green revolution, as we call it. The ability to have that standard form factor that no matter what you're using your electricity or power for, it's stored in a Joule Case battery, and that product platform or that form factor becomes universal. When you have that, you suddenly can swap and exchange. You can suddenly, you could bring a Joule Case into a party, and now with you and all of your friends, you have all the power that you need. You can then, oh, my Joule Case is empty, and I'm now going to go back to the store and swap it out, or I'm going to charge it via solar. So this is a very big idea. And while COVID, certainly changes the business for everyone, what COVID does for Joule Case is that it makes that consumer aware of the importance of a portable power product, or that resilient product, and that is fantastic for us.
Excellent. Well, we really appreciate you spending a few minutes with us to tell your story here, James, and we're excited to continue to support the success of Joule Case, and just great to see you guys so passionate about creating a great future, clean power, mobile power, and be able to leverage technology and all the remote work. Now people are everywhere trying to get work done outside of the offices, and they do need power, and they do need reliable power. And so it's very important with all the power outages in California, as we've seen, all the wildfires and things, you never know when you're going to need it. So having a dependable solution that's, economically priced and rechargeable, accessible, and usable, very, very helpful. So we're very pleased to be investors, and excited to encourage your success, and appreciate you being on with me today to share your story.
Thank you for having me, Nathan.